Welcome to another chapter of the Crown podcast. Today we have a very special guest, someone that I've known for most of my life, and he's a joy. He's a joy. He's funny, he's wise, he's inspirational, he's motivational, he's a deep thinker, but he always puts a playful spin on everything that he does. It was very, very important for me to have him on the podcast to speak to all of you today. And his career is very storied. You know, he's traveled, he's gigged all over the world, he's won awards, he's been very dedicated to the love of R&B. He's kept his English accent while doing it. He's just an anomaly and a being that's filled with so much skill and talent, that's rooted upon the foundation of hard work and passion and desire. And I'm so humbled to know him, call him brother. Jai Amore, welcome to the Crown podcast.
Bro, thank you for having me. And thank you for condensing my life into such a beautiful introduction. I'm going to keep that soundbite forever. Thank you.
You are more than welcome, and it's more than deserved. So I said in the intro that you know, when I think about you, you are a happy, bubbly, and enthusiastic person. And I've worked with you, I've grown up with you. And then, you know, at times our lives have kind of drifted apart, but we're still watching you from a distance and seeing some of those key values that you had when you were a teenager in your work today. And this sense of joy and being quite fulfilled in what you do as an artist. When did this start for you? What was the catalyst that made you say, wow, I really love doing this and I'm going to continue to do it?
I think that started before music, to be fair. I think that started in family life. With me, my brother, my sister, we're from a very Ghanaian household. My parents came here when they were in their 20s and had us when they were in their 30s. So they're already in the midst of their lives and then having kids. And I realized when I was younger that my parents, they had their own things to do. So they had to go out, work, take care of So my dad's very stoic and my mom's very focused. And so it's us as kids creating what fun means. And especially in a household that we're not, fun isn't the main focus. Do you know what I mean? Fun is a secondary focus to focus. Do your work, clean your dishes, keep your bedroom tight. There's so much discipline, so much rigor in the house. We had to create our own fun. And I remember me and my sister once when we were kids, we turned every bedroom in our house and every room in our house into a train station and just choo-chooed around the whole house for a good afternoon, naming each room a station. Mum's lamp, and my sister's name's Adamore and my name's Jay. So AJ Circus was our bedroom. Having fun in anything becomes possible when you create your own environment, you create your own atmosphere, and then fun can be in the center of literally anything. And then listen, fast forward, you know, decades, and the day my mum passed, we were able to laugh and cry in the same day, in the same moments. So you're able to find fun in everything. It just evolves as you grow up. And like, listen, that's the same as us lot. When we were younger, when we would be, bro, I remember the first song we wrote together. You and I were in the park in the dark as well. There weren't any lights in the park, bro. We were just in the park, the three of us harmonizing, figuring out this song. That's our fun. Like, it's in the middle of danger, man. Like, this is Northwest London, Asbo Central. And we're like, nah, this is fun. This is where we create our art and our love and our craft. So I think finding fun in the middle of things is a muscle that I learned from young. And it's something that I'm able to now do. It doesn't take thought. You know what I mean? I don't have to choose to. It's inbuilt now. But I've also been able to see what it took to build it in.
Many young people today are forced to grow up too soon. I guess the access to information, and maybe less of that discipline, structure, and foundation that you spoke of. The need to grow up so soon, you can lose out on that fun. And then for a lot of older people, they lose that that childlike energy, that childlike soul, and they take life too serious. And so even the idea of trying to schedule fun into your day seems backwards, almost as that we should be living from a place of fun and then everything else fits around it. But I want to know for you, you mentioned as you journeyed on, it was the fun in a sense that kind of kept you interested. And so how important do you think it is um, for young people to have access to environments that not only can help them to learn and grow, but also that they enjoy?
I don't know if I'd get to think about it as important because it's oxygen. And I haven't thought about how important oxygen is frequently. The last time I thought about how important oxygen was when the last time I went swimming. And if you're scared of water, oxygen suddenly becomes very important.
Mm.
So the only time you really notice it's important is when you can feel the danger of not having it. That's the only time. The rest of the time, I guess it's the real important thing is building the muscle that it takes to make it natural to make things fun. I think that's where that's what's important, is what muscle do you choose to build? And listen, every day we're living, this is in and out of music. Every day we're living, bro. We've got hundreds and thousands of seconds and of moments where we have an opportunity to choose what each thing means. And so it's a muscle. In every moment, we are building a muscle in our brain, in our minds, in our hearts. What does the moment mean? And then when you look back over a whole day, what did the accumulation of all the moments mean? I know some musicians, bro. Music is for me, I notice it's a free space. Do what you want. But I know some people that are trapped in music. I think of it as a free space. Somebody could be on stage right next to me, trapped. Bro, I've been on stage trapped. So it's not even as if it's a monolithic idea. It's something you've got to reinforce all the time. And also you can't look outside yourself for it as well. That's the other thing I always think about is the environment is in your head, it's in your heart. So that's the environment to train. And I think the part of it that I've found recently, and this again, it's inbuilt, but you've still got to enforce it. Just like every other muscle, it's like muscles in your body. You could be an Olympic sprinter at 20, but if through your whole 20s you've eaten cake, you're not going to be as fit by 30. So training the environment as a thing is something important. Like there's some times where things are going horrifically wrong, and the hardest thing to do there is to find out why it's funny. Do you know what I mean? Just find out why. Listen, bro, been on stage, the cable, I stepped on the cable, popped out of the mic, middle of a big note. Pop. No more note. I can see the audience laughing. I've got to find out why that's funny. If I can't find out why that's funny, the whole show's bad. So pick up the cable, sing into the cable, leave the mic in my other hand, sing into the cable, let the audience have a real laugh, because that's what's actually happened. The mic cable has popped out of the mic. There is now no more sound coming through the speakers, but they're all watching a silent man on stage who could get embarrassed. Let's be embarrassed together then. I'm singing into the cable.
I think that speaks to you not taking yourself too seriously when you're in your element of doing the thing that you love. And one of the things that I know about you, because I participated in this, was we had things like the Brent Summer University, and you speak of environments and these places to develop those muscles. These are real analog face-to-face encounters 2-3 times a week. But we get to then showcase at the end of that, in the summer, in this big show, and everyone's been working towards this. There's this kind of community journey that we've all been on to perform to people who really have seen these performances every week. Yeah. But again, just to dial back to my question, with young people today, to highlight the importance of having those types of setups or systems to start to see, okay, I do like photo processing, or I do like singing, or I do like being on the drums or sound engineering, like being able to have access to a lot of different things. So we can then discover maybe in one of those things, I love that, And so I wonder for you, was there any other option other than music for you?
So I'm like, 8 or 9 maximum. And they've asked us in class to draw what you want to be when you grow up. And this is the the I guess the expanse of where my mind was, what I thought I could be growing up. And I've drawn on this sheet, I want to be an architect. So there's me drawing this beautiful big building. I want to be an architect or a street cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two. So I had me with a broom cleaning the streets or an architect. And it's because it's the thing that you're building is, where do you want to love what you do? It's not where do you want to do something and then love doing it. It's where do you want to love what you do?
Mm-hmm.
And you can love what you do no matter what you do. But I guess building that environment out there or finding them is something that we can do. Like, you can actively do that. We came from different places, slightly different places. We're all from the same area. But listen, my dad was trying to get me out of the area. My dad sent me to school out of the area, you know. Like, we had reasons to be in different spaces, but this is what our parents were giving us, were just the opportunities that they thought were the best. So it's for us to take on those opportunities and find the thing in that. So Red Summer University, we were working hard, bro. I know you remember, we were working hard. It was diligent in hours on end, drilling the same harmonies, dance routines. Do you know what I mean? The parts, recording it and filming it and looking back. And we got one of our friends who's a choreographer to teach us extra choreography. Like, we were going in. Hard work can be fun. And do you know what, as well, just to be fair, I feel like that's something I personally was able to get from my mom, because we used to play, we used to record ourselves reading when, like, late at night. My mom, just before bed, she pressed record on a tape recorder. That's how way back this was, on a tape recorder, and say, okay, everyone read the book or tell a story or sing a song. And that's what we do. That's before bed. Me, my brother, my sister, we each have a story to tell or a book to read on tape. We might listen to it back to it later. And I mean, 10 years or 15 years later, my brother decided he was a garage MC and recorded over all of those tapes. Thanks, bro. Like, in the moment, what you're doing is you're having fun. You're doing life together.
But even disappointment at that time wasn't going to stop us, because we loved it so much. And so I just wonder for you, you know, the average listener who listens to a song, 3.5 minutes, and they could dance to it, they could sing along to it. It's just one of many songs on their playlist along their journey to work or to college or school or uni. But what's the process like for you? That's 3.5 minutes to us. But from the moment you get an idea, what's your process like, and how do you keep it fun and enjoyable? Because I know it can take months and sometimes even years to finish a 3-minute song.
You've asked what I call a loaded question, bro, because the process isn't inherently fun. There's no part of that process that you can say that's the fun part. And especially because, like you said, it can take such a long time. It doesn't always actually feel like the whole process is fun. You're going through highs and lows the whole time. And then what you're looking at is like the overarching perspective. What was this as an overall experience? And would I do the experience again? But as a step by step, I remember there's a song that I was in the shower and I just heard the acoustics of my voice echo through the bathroom. And I was like, that sounds nice. Imagine that as a song. So I took that sound and I wrote the rest of the chorus while I was in the shower. Great, that sounded great, because I heard how it would echo. And so I'm basing the sound of things that, okay, great. So I need to quickly go in and write. Those times as the bedroom studio days. So go straight into my bedroom. I left my skin ashy so I could record the idea down. Quickly put the idea down. And what you're doing then is just you're record the vocal real quick so you don't forget it, and then try to make, because we used to, remember, you and I learned to produce together. We basically taught each other to produce, right? And so I would go in and I'm trying to make the beat while writing the rest of the song, so the beat and the song are being created at the same time. And we're both vocal arrangers, so we're putting the harmonies around it, the backing vocals, and we're building this thing as it comes. And that actually is fun in itself, especially because no one's there. Nobody was there in the shower. Nobody came into the bedroom with me to listen to me put down the initial idea. So nobody knows that there's even an idea. There are no stakes. I'm not doing this for anyone else. This is my own world. So then it can go all the way wrong. At the end of it going all the way wrong, I can discard it. It's all right. So nothing is that deep. Nothing is that deep in that space. So then you get to the point of, okay, you've got down the initial draft of it, the demo, and I'm still not going to show anyone. But what I might do is I might go and live my life a little bit and come back and listen again with some new ears. And I'll be like, whoa, that lead vocal is terrible. That's all right. No one's heard it yet. Go in and re-record it again then.
Mm.
Or show it to you, because you're somebody, you, Steve, you listen with such forgiving ears that you could hear the idea. Oh, I
Mm.
hear the idea, Jay. Maybe do that with the vocal, do that with the kick, do that with the snare, maybe put in the chord here. You might want that on the backing vocals. Or at the same time, you might show me one of your songs that you'd be making at the same time that would inspire me to go in and recreate inside my own song. And then what happens is that you start to get this idea of a song that starts to feel like it's building itself. And the fun
Mm.
then is in just stepping back and watching it build itself.
Mm.
And what do I need to do? What do I have to do here? What's calling me to do stuff? It's like a relationship. You're building something. And if it
Mm.
doesn't go well, all right, I'm still alive. I can still make another one tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow in the shower, a different song might come to me. Or tomorrow
Mm.
when I'm on the way to the shops, the crisp packet that I pick up in the shop will make a sound, that crunchy sound. Oh, that sounds like a snare. I don't know. And then you then have a new idea that pops into your head. The sound of a bus going past sounds like a sweep from a song that you might make later. You don't know
Mm.
when the idea is going to come, and you don't know what the process of making a song is going to be like. But you know that if you keep honing the craft, you keep honing the skills, and that I see that as the two sides of it. It's like there's the creative, abstract, uh, freestyling part of creativity, and then there is the logical, rational, methodical, disciplined part of the reality of it as well, which is that,
Mm.
listen, there is only one way to turn on my computer, hit the on button. There's only one way to hit an A note. There's only one way to change that and make it flat, to take it down a semitone. These are methods. So you figure out the methods, you hone that craft, you figure out your creativity, you hone that craft. But inside the methods, you can have fun, and inside the creativity, you can have fun. I'm writing a book that says that. It's like there's a dove, which is like all free and light and beautiful, and there's the hawk, which is like zoned in, focused. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So like I make it into like an artist journal, bro, where you can
Yeah.
say, what's the freestyle part of it that I can just throw my feelings today into, and what's the hard part of it? What's the part that I had to learn this skill over 20 years?
You said the word relationship, and I thought it was quite a really good word to use because different levels of relationships require different levels of investment. And so I guess if you're someone who doesn't prioritize doing the things that you love, you won't be fully invested. And so you might miss out on some of those magical opportunities that someone like Jay has taken advantage of. So when he's walking down the street, because he's so present with the thing that he loves, he takes it everywhere with him. He's more aware and he can see, and he's more sensitive to those spontaneous bits of inspiration. So like you mentioned, the sound of a crisp packet to someone else that's just the crisp packet, but because he's always got what he loves with him, it's an opportunity to turn it into something else. I guess if it's a casual type relationship, then you won't be as connected, and you could miss some of those inspirational moments. And so I just want to know, for you, do you consciously make the effort to keep creativity with you, whether you're in the studio or whether you're going to a gig?
There was something that you said about being present, and even the idea of being present. I find it difficult to create if I'm not present. I
Mm.
can make music, but I don't find making music and creating the same thing. Playing a chord isn't the same as creating a melody.
Mm.
You can use your skills to play the chord. You use your creative mind to create a melody. And I think it takes being present to create the melody, to build something that you think of as new.
Mm.
And there was a time that I went to couples therapy in an actual relationship between humans that I was
Mm.
in. And the therapist was talking about immediacy. And it just struck me as such a great idea. Take care of what's happening right now. Like, just focus on it. What's happening? Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future. Whatever's happening right now, take care of it. And it's almost like honor the moment. And that there, I find that a muscle, because all of my insecurities are from the past, but they speak to me so loudly. There are no
Mm.
insecurities happening right now. There's nothing else to compare myself to if I'm just right now, if it's just me just now, right here. The only things to compare myself to is another person or a different me in a different time or in a different place. It's never right now. But my
Mm,
insecurities from the past speak to me. They're all, hey Jay, maybe you're not as good a singer, or hey Jay, or maybe you're not as creative, or you're not as smart. But immediacy that I got from that couples therapist that time, immediacy is like, what are you right now? Not in comparison. What are you right now? That's where I create from. And
mm,
that's listen, I take that seriously. I find it fun for sure. But I take that really seriously because it's a
mm,
muscle that you have to build and you have to acknowledge and you have to notice when you're slipping. Because bro, like I said, it's life, isn't it?
mm,
Like the first time the tax man came for my money, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna lose 25% of what I've earned. And then I was like, whoa, I've made enough money that somebody wants it. like, like the country I live in wants my
mm,
money. I'm rich. I'm
mm,
rich. If they didn't want my money, it would be a sign that I'm not wealthy. They want my money. I'm wealthier than I was last year because last year they didn't
mm,
come to me. They
mm,
came to the wealthy. So it's there is the part of, oh no, they want something that I've got, and there is the part of I'm wealthier than I was. And
mm,
it's what part right now am I leaning into? Because with music, if I lean into, oh, there's no song, there's no state being no song, that's
mm.
immediate. But if I lean into, there's something in my mind that wants to come out, there will be something in my mind and I'll bring it out. So I guess the opportunity that you have in each moment, every time, is what do you want to do with now?
You know, what you speak to is the creating in the present, you know, doing, being who you are in the moment. And I mentioned people will see and they can hear your music and they can hear this, what sounds like an end product today. Maybe 10 years from now, it's not. But the journey that it's taken you to get to this level, all the songs that people have never heard, all of the verses that you've never put down, all of the beats and tracks that you've produced and never quite finished, or tracks you've just given away because you just don't have time to record. Like that journey, how important is it for people to continue to create and put things out despite the need to feel like you have to make it perfect, and embracing where you are at each stage of your journey? Because that's something that sometimes puts people off. They think, oh, I'm not good enough yet. But they'd be surprised to know that in the beginning, you weren't this guy.
Whoa, bro, you don't understand. I was the opposite of this guy. I honestly, my friends and my family taught me to sing and be honest. That was the two things. There's still more learning about being a good singer that I'm doing, and there's more learning about being honest that I'm doing.
Mm,
I don't believe that there's an end product. I don't believe. And I have fun in that because I know that I'm on my way. I just choose where I'm on my way to. That's the important thing. Where am I on my way to? Where am I seeing this going? Where do I see the future of this? So when I was, I guess, 16, 17, 18, and I was just producing, I was on my way to impressing you with what I created, Steve.
mm,
Do you know what I mean? That's what I was on my way to. And the thing that I'm going for is you being impressed. That's great. This is
mm,
amazing. As I get older, I'm going to me being impressed. That's
mm,
great. And then as I get older, I go on to my audience being impressed. I want to hear you guys sing "Holla at Me, Baby," and you sing it back. I want that. So I'm
mm,
going for that. And then later, I'm going to my mum. My mum was like, "This isn't a career unless it makes money." I was like, "Mum, it's a career. I get to do what I love." All right. But if I stop paying for your rent, who would pay for your rent? Oh, I got to make it make money. The first time I brought home an award and showed my mum on TV and radio, she's like, now that's the beginnings of a career. Before that, it's a really good hobby that you're really good at. Okay, so now I'm looking for it to be that my living environment, I can build based on it. So I'm looking for what it goes towards. All right, this can give me a big garden. I want a big garden. So this can give me a big garden. So now it's the building it towards a big garden. I just envision the big garden. I don't envision the obstacles. I don't need to envision them. Life will give me that if it wants to.
mm,
But if I envision the big garden, and today I'm saying this song is going to give me the big garden. Great. Hey, I hope that's Madison Square Garden. That's amazing. That's a big garden. So then
mm,
I can, You can build towards something that you love building towards. Now,
Mm.
if you know that you're going towards something that you love, you can always smile about that.
We're speaking about the journey, and you just highlighted a very, 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 very important gem that I think a lot of people on the outside miss, is that you may be doing this for longer unpaid than the actual career that you have, it being paid. And so, in the case of your mother saying it's not a career unless it makes money, it might be a vocation for a very, very long time. And if you can't love it at the vocation level, you're not going to love it at the career level.
Bro, let me tell you, I've cleaned toilets, I've cleaned people's houses, I've 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 been in service, in retail, I've served food, I've done picking and packing in warehouses so that I can finance giving myself the opportunity to hone my skills as a musician. I was a musician for 15 years before I was making money as a musician. And I'll tell you what, bro, after our talk today, I am going to the airport to fly out to be a musician in my career. That's where I'm heading to. That's the next thing in my calendar. I believe everything is possible. I believe everything is possible. And listen, you might not have to do 15 years. Your 10,000 hours, you might be able to do that in 3 years. So maybe in 3 years, somebody can make it to where they want to be. Maybe in 1 year, by just making all the phone calls every day, call, call, call. Or maybe your thing is in the next month, you make 10 tracks a day. Go ham for as long. The actual thing is, for everyone, it's going to be different. There's no formula to this.
Mm.
But there is the opportunity for choice in everyone. I believe in that. There's an opportunity for choice in everyone. So you choose, am I listening to the voice that says I can or the voice that says I can't? And I've got a visualization I do every day right now where I learned it from some old school reverend from America. It says, surely in me, God can. So
Mm.
what that to me is, I have a certainty in a certain way, surely. And then in me, which is based on what I know of myself, the skills that I've learned over the years. So that could be any number of years, the emotional integrity that I have, that I've built for myself, my relationships, my friends, my community, what I know of myself, what I know of my spirit, my energy, my emotional states, my mind, what I know of myself, using that as a tool, God, the everything, the universe, the be all and end all can create the thing that I believe in. I believe in that big garden, bro. So surely in me, God can get that big garden. So it's not even me. All I've got to do is play my role. What's my role?
Mm.
So then that's the question. What's my role? If it's not my plan, if it's the universe's plan, what's my role in that? I can choose based on where I am right now, immediacy, to go towards what my insecurities tell me, or I can choose in this moment to go towards that garden.
Mm.
And I just love choosing the garden. It just makes me feel good. Sometimes, bro, sometimes I don't feel good. And I know that taking just a small step towards the garden makes me feel just a little bit better. Bro, the
Mm.
day my mum passed, I honestly thought that is the person who tells me I'm good looking. From now on, I may not ever be good looking. I thought, oh, well, that doesn't work. Let me take a step towards the garden. Let me take a step towards feeling like I'm good looking without my mum here as the cheerleader of me being good looking. I just want to feel good looking. I don't really mind if the truth out there is different from what I feel. I just want to feel good looking. My mum made me feel good looking. That voice isn't here on the physical earth anymore. So I just went in the mirror and said, nah, you're good looking, bro. Carried on my day. Just a tiny little move towards the
Mm.
thing that I want.
But yeah, I
Tiny.
wanted to talk about that because you mentioned your mother, you mentioned family as being this foundation for you that really was the foundation of you that supported you, to do the things that you love. I find the recordings at night so beautiful, and I wish all parents could dedicate that time to doing things like that, because just those few moments when they add up can really create 30 years later a conversation where you say, you know what, this was a moment that was really influential in my career. Every single night we did something creative, the three of us. And so I think, I've know your mother, and I know your relationship with her, from what I've seen, and just what does she mean to you, and how influential do you think she's been in your creative process as an artist?
I think you nailed it in something you said, bro. I think a major thing my mum means to me is moments add up. That is, when you said that, I was like, that's my mum speaking.
Mm.
You weren't even speaking, Steve. My mum spoke. I was like, that's a really nice, pleasant, soft voice you even said it in. The moments add up. And I don't think you really need to hinge what the moment actually had in it. It's just,
Mm.
are you honoring the moment? Because the
Mm.
moments add up. Honor the moment because they add up. So what my mom means to me in this space, I feel like my mom is a hippie. And I talk about my mom in the present. Why? Because she just spoke to me through you. I
Mm.
can't relegate it to the past because she just now spoke to me. I
Mm.
can't say at the time that she stopped using her physical body, she stopped existing because she just now spoke to me. This is 3 years
Mm.
down the line, bro. So I know that her existence is present. Because I'm using her existence to inspire myself right now through you. Moments add up. So then I feel like especially my mom, my mom's kind of like a pinnacle. My mom and my sister, two major pinnacles in the family, because my sister is disciplined. My sister is wildly disciplined. My sister realized very early that she gains respect for herself by honoring her discipline. My mom realized really early she gains respect for herself by creating her freedom inside her mind and her heart. So with those two, I'm unbeatable. I'm literally
Mm.
unbeatable because everything my experience is inside my mind and my heart. So all of my judgments about how this looks out here is in my mind and my heart. And I create discipline so I can respect myself more. So
Mm.
no one can respect me more than I respect myself, which means everybody is respecting me based on the amount that I respect myself.
Although, you got to a point where you were able to frame your mum transitioning or leaving physical body, you were able to frame it in a way that's quite inspirational and quite um, powerful for you moving forward. But in the moment, how did it feel for you? And how did it impact your love for what you do? I know you've got a really beautiful story about your song, If I Don't Wake Up Today. It would be great if you can share that. But let's talk a bit about, when something so monumental happens, such a disruption, what does that do to the artist, or in your case, and then lead on to how it kind of propelled you forward, going forward from there?
Well, my mum passed at age 71 in 2020. And it's funny because I'll go to one of the happy things first because it just always comes up. My mum's funeral was the best party I've ever been to in my life.
Mm.
Literally. And for anyone who was there, you will know it was such a celebration. We mourned together, we grieved together, but it was such a celebration. It
Mm.
was also the first time that I've ever seen my brother dance.
Wow.
I've known him my whole life. And my mum's funeral was he did the electric slide, bro. And I was
Mm.
like, I didn't know you knew the electric slide. I didn't know you danced, G. And
Mm.
he was dancing, right? So that's that. However, the day my mum passed, I feel like I was in shock, to be fair. It's more than anything, I didn't know that the world could change so drastically. I didn't know that so much pain could happen at one moment. I
Mm.
didn't know that so much loss could happen at one moment. This feels like if everything from the equator downwards just evaporated. What would you do? Do you know what I mean? What would you do if suddenly every single bird just went? No birds.
Mm.
Like it felt like all gone. And then perspective wise, I took a walk through our local area. I looked around and I was like, these people don't even know it happened. So my perspective was shattered actually, because I thought if I'm experiencing something, the whole world must be experiencing it. And for that much pain, that much change, that much drastic loss, I would have assumed that something would have changed in the rest of the world. But there were people talking about going and buying their groceries, somebody just eating an apple and throwing the rest of it in the bin, just normal things happening in the rest of the world. And I realized that it's me that has to honor that the life. It's me that has to, not has to, that has the opportunity to honor life and
Mm.
honor the change and honor the loss and honor what we gained. And fortunately for me, my mum used to share her meditation experiences with me. She used to let me know what it felt like to meditate. So I could experience, I could understand where she expected herself to show up. And my mum's expected herself to show up in the expanse of space.
Mm.
Oh, great. So when she passed, I just went into what she told me about herself. I'm still here. It's my mum that's in the new space. Or what new space does she say she's in? What does heaven look like to my mum? What does life experience feel like to my mum? I went into that and found the lessons that she gave me and said, oh, she's in the expanse of space. Oh, so she stopped using her physical body. And I understand. I looked upon her physical body and I said, this isn't in use anymore. I get it. And my
Mm.
sister was like, you got to open the door and let her out. I opened the door. I felt her energy leave the room. I felt, I looked up, I saw a beautiful blue sky. It was sunny. I remember calling my dad to let him know. They weren't together, but I called my dad to let him know. It's the first time I'd ever heard my dad cry, which was also a testament to the fact that for the years preceding, I had decided to build a really good man-to-man relationship with my dad because he felt safe enough to cry. My dad is stoic as stoic can get. And he shed a tear and I was like, I'm here for him. And I realized I could be here for my dad. I could be here for the guy that I wanted to be there for me.
Mm.
So in those same moments, I suddenly had new muscles, bro. So it was weird, bro. It was so weird. In the moments of the deepest loss I've ever experienced, I found myself a new muscle that I could tell would help people. Like, again, I'm happy as my overall perspective, but that doesn't mean I don't experience my sadness. I love my sadness. My sadness is really there. It's one of the reasons why I create is because there's a polarity in me between my sadness and my joy all the time. And there was a song one day where I was just thinking of what it would feel like to not be here on this earth anymore, you know? And I actually wrote this before my mum passed and I never sang it to her because I was just scared of what it would mean to her. Never sang it to her. And the first time I sang it for her was at her funeral in the church. And I couldn't even get all the words out, man. I stumbled. And I was like, oh, my mum's really trolling me today, innit? But I wrote it feeling like, what does it mean to me to not be here? And I realized what it means to me to not be here is to find ways to be here.
Mm.
That's it. Just find ways to be here. Do my family know me in Ghana, or am I just a name? You know, what else did I have in the song? Did you learn independence, or are you lost now that I'm gone? It's like, did I give you what I believe that you deserve to have for yourself, or did I make you dependent on me? I don't want anyone to be dependent on me, but I want to give some inspiration to create strength in others. I want to see the light in people, bring it out and give it to them. Do you know what I mean? Read my book, listen to my album, talk to my friends, talk to my family. It's that. Take what I've left here, use it to your benefit. So then my thing then is I ensure that I'm creating things that people can use to their benefit. That's the whole reason. That's the whole reason I'm doing anything is because I love building things. And I know that down the line, I want my garden to be something that someone else can run around in, roam in, breathe fresh air in. So then I'm like, well, if I'm going to build something and after I'm gone, it's going to stay here. My mum used to make things. Let me tell you this real quick, Steve. I'll tell you this. My mum used to make makeshift DIY, handcrafted little bowls and stationery boxes that people can put their pens into out of juice cartons and rolled up magazine stuff and PVA glue, I think it's called.
Mm.
And me and Asma, my sister, we used to say, stop making these. They're not nice. And my mom was like, nope, I love making them. I enjoy making them. These are great. I'm giving them to everyone. Everyone's going to have one of these. Like, Mom, they're so horrible and ugly. At least spray paint them black or silver so they're stylish. Nope.
Mm.
They look like they're high school made, but they're really nice in a sense, but they're high school made. We used to troll her so much. Now she's passed, bro. I walk into so many people's houses and I see them there. I walk into so many people's houses and they're sitting there. And do you know what happens? I feel my mum laughing at me. I feel my mum saying, I bet you love it now. I bet you're looking at it like with this warm, oh, my mum's little pot is sitting in someone's. I bet you love it. After all that talk, you love it now. So now my thing is, I'm not even trying to make music that people like. I'm just making music that I like and giving it to people. So my actual thing is, I want you to get to know who I am, and I'm going to leave who I am here.
You know, I had the honor of being there at your mother's funeral, and it was a beautiful day, and there were so many emotions, and there was just this overwhelming feeling of gratitude for everything she has done for everyone. One of my biggest memories, and I treasure it, is how much she supported my writing. Jay is extremely humble in his description of him and his sister and his brother and his family. They are super high achievers, A stars and nothing else. Okay. And as a parent, you can get very protective over your children and almost kind of pitch them against other children to say, my kids are better than yours, or you want to keep your kids above everyone else. But with your mother, it wasn't that. She wanted us all to be academically brilliant. She wanted us all to explore our own gifts. And so, although I stopped making music, the way she embraced my writing, when I come to your house and I'd see my books on your shelf and next to one of those pots, like I felt that, that day I felt that I felt that for me, but I could also see that everyone was feeling it in their own way. And what it really spoke to is her celebration of other people living a life where they're doing what they love. And so, yeah, you are very right in your estimation, how you broke it down of the kind of person that she is and was to us at those times. And so there's been quite a theme of, when things get hard, although we have a choice, sometimes we're not emotionally in the place to be able to make the choice, and we don't have the clarity to make the choice or to know what the correct choices are for us. And so I want to ask you, you've had low times. In those times, how much of a guide has your art been for you as a therapy tool, but also as something that kind of like a compass that lets you know it's okay, I'm on the right track?
That's an amazing question, man, because it's quite, again, it's a loaded one, because sometimes I feel like I'm there for my music. I feel like my music is asking me, please, Jay, use me, please use me,
Mm,
because if you use me, I can be there for you. And sometimes I'm saying to my music, please use me, please use me as a place to express what I feel, because I don't know how to express what I feel. So again, it's like a relationship. I feel like the thing to do for me has been to use my music to be prepared for the moments that I need my music. So I train myself in music, I train myself in self-expression, so that at the time that I really need something, I can lean into my music and I could feel like I can express myself with music.
mm,
Especially because I honestly feel like after years and years of training myself to be a musician to my level, I I can't hide there. It's somewhere that I'm really me. If I'm not certain, it shows up. If I'm really like in love, it shows up. If I'm really confident, it shows up. If I'm feeling humility, it shows up. If I'm scared, it shows up. Which means if I really need to express myself, if I need to express my honest emotion, music can show up for me.
mm,
It's taken years to be good enough for myself, to be skilled enough to bring out the light in myself and give it honestly in my music. But then on the flip side, the good thing about it is I can also listen to my own music and say if there was a happier time, I can listen to my happier times and listen to my honest expression of myself in my happier times and know there are happier times. Do you remember when, bro, all the time, your thing has been better days. I wish you better days. I wish you better days. And there's a song of yours that I listen to sometimes when I require that.
whatever it is you really genuinely enjoy doing, create a system within your life where that thing can always be present and never too far away. So you can pull on it in hard times, you can pull on it in inspired times, and you can pull on it in times where you may need a pickup. And you're never far away from the thing that you love. Even if you are preoccupied with something else, there's always a moment, an opportunity for you to, okay, I remember we used to do it. We used to like record like melodies we'd hear in our head for later.
Yep.
We'd record it on a little recorder and MP3 player.
Yep.
And
Oh my
we'd
God.
go home and then recreate it. And so even if we are preoccupied or if life's a bit heavy and you've got revision to do and you can't do the things you want to do, never having that thing far away. And so on that, for someone listening right now who may be a bit confused about the direction of their life, or where to start, just despite their age, What advice would you give to someone who wants to be able to experience that joy of doing something without the expectation that it must turn into a career or that they must become famous, that they just want to, even if it's alongside their mundane job, how can they create a system where doing what they love is an art form in the sphere of their life?
I'd say first, trust yourself. It's the first thing. Build trust in yourself, and you can build trust in yourself by just saying regularly, I trust myself. Build trust in yourself by just regularly saying, I trust myself. And then I'd say, for example, if you have 7 days, you have 7 new opportunities to recreate your environment around you, to remind you of what it is that you need being available to you. So Monday, you could put a sign on your wall saying, I trust myself. On Tuesday, you could find a song that you can play to yourself out there in the ether that says, I love my life. On Wednesday, you can find the picture of yourself at the time in your life that you were the happiest that says to you, oh yeah, there are times in my life that I'm happy beyond belief. On Thursday, you can go through your phone book and find the 5 friends. Don't have to contact them. Just find the 5 friends that give you the highest sense of yourself when you're in their presence. On Saturday, you could talk to one of your elders to give you a reminder that, oh, there's so much more in life available to me. On Saturday, you can go and find a book that really resonates with what you believe in. And on Sunday, you can get yourself to church and rebuild that faith again, if that's your thing, rebuild that faith again that, oh, there's a higher power that could be taking care of me. And even if you've got a little bit of that idea in each of those days, that is now 7 small extra bits of ideas, 7 bricks to build in your house. You might need 1,000 bricks, but if you do that first 7 on your first 7 days, then you don't have those 7 to do the next 7 days. You have another 7. On after the first 7 days, you now have 993. You don't have 1,000 bricks to lay. So I think it's a muscle. I think joy, happiness is a muscle, just like everything else, just like sadness is, to be fair. And just because in this world that we live in, there are so many opportunities to find sadness, it's upon you to put in the deliberate attention to building an environment of happiness, of joy, of fun. So build it. Just build it, just one tiny thing at a time. It doesn't need to be the biggest thing. You don't need a public display of affection, but a small thing. And that's what I do for myself. Listen, there are times I have trouble believing that the next step is going to be a good one. So fortunately, I've put down 582 bricks so far of really good, fun, faith-filled experiences for myself that say, Jay, you've got this. So I just have to look into those. And I look into those and it reminds me. And I talk to you and it reminds me. And I call my sister and it reminds me. I listen to an old voice note of me saying it. It reminds me. My mum used to record her affirmations. I am creative and I am covered by the blood of Jesus. My mom's hard-body Christian, isn't it? I'm covered by the blood. And she'd go into her thing and she'd really, hard-body, who says that? She'd really have these affirmations to give to herself. And I've taken those for myself now. So every small little bit, you just give it back to yourself. So create your world so you can give your world back to yourself. Because only you know what world you need to feel happiness, to feel joy.
A beautiful bit of advice to give. And I love how you break it down into days, because quite often it is just simple tasks, simple steps to make, small changes, incremental changes daily, that really start that journey. And then I guess lastly, could you paint a picture for us of what art means to you, and what does doing what you love look like for you, and what could it look like for our listeners?
Art to me is an abstract and disciplined world. And what I'm doing is I'm going into that world, building the skills it takes and freeing my mind enough to be able to interpret that abstract and disciplined world for this physical world we live in. So my skills that I'm building are I'm learning to be a good singer. I'm learning to play music well. I'm learning to record myself, write songs, put lyrics together, be good at giving the words that are in my heart honestly and openly. That's the skills. And then I'm also freeing my mind enough. I'm looking inward. I'm looking at what I honestly feel. I'm discovering what the definitions of my emotions are in an honest and authentic way, so that I can put that with the skills that I built and take those two and put a physical imprint on this physical world that we live in today. That's what art is to me. And for that, it means that my art might not look like art to someone else. And that has to be okay, because it's truly me. And I have to be okay with it not looking like art to someone else, because I have to be okay that that's truly them.
Beautifully said. It starts inside, it's experience for you, and then it is then given out and shared with the world. And so I encourage all of you today listening, wherever you're listening, that this journey, although it looks beautiful and glamorous at what may appear to be the end of the journey, it's ongoing, it's brick by brick. You never really arrive. And the art is in doing what you love and being present in the daily acts and opportunities and moments that present themselves along your way, because you're so conscious about the thing that you love that you never stop seeing the opportunities around you, and then finding a way to allow those things to flow into all areas of your life. And then you'll have stories like Jay, where you just see beauty and happiness and opportunity to create another beautiful moment. So thank you so much for everything you've shared today, bro. It's really nice to reminisce and think back on those times, but more beautiful to be able to bring it into present day as, you know, grown-ups, you know, and have such a beautiful story and journey to share with others who may not see the full picture.
Bro, thank you so much for having me. This has been something that I'm carrying through the rest of my day and week as my experience that will guide and inspire me. So thank you for giving me this. And thank you for opening me up to remind myself what this life and this art means to me, so I can carry it into my life for the rest of my day, my week, my month. I love you, man.
Thank you all for listening. We hope you've taken something powerful and useful away from this conversation today. For more information on my guest, you will see the information in the description below. Until next time, stay blessed, and I wish you better days.